All right, guys. You see the title of the video. You know I love videos like this, and there's nothing that gets me going more than being number 20 in Bleacher Report's power rankings. Once again, though, guys, if you enjoy this video and you're not subscribed already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Getting really close, like 19 subscribers away from 1,300, so I appreciate it so much. We reached my goal of hitting 1,000 before the new year, so I'll be getting that giveaway before the new year for you guys, so stay tuned for that. But let's just get right into today's video. Today's video, the title is probably going to be why the Houston Rockets are the best team in the NBA. And, you know, what's up, Laker fans? What's up, non-Rockets fans? You guys aren't going to like this video, but I don't really care. So if you're wondering why we're the best team, the Houston Rockets are the best. Oops. Sorry, my phone just had a little spasm. If you're wondering why the Rockets are the best team in the NBA, well, I'll tell you why. It starts with J and it ends in H. His name's James Harden. So James Harden's been averaging nearly 30 points since 2012. He's brought us to the playoffs for, 8 straight years now? I mean, this dude brought Dwight and a bunch of nobodies to the playoffs. The Houston Rockets could roll with the lineup we have, or the lineup we had for Game 1, where Eric Gordon, Ben McLemore, John Wall, DeMarcus Cousins, all these guys don't play. And James Harden, even though I understand how loaded the West is, James Harden has Christian Wood, and he has himself, and that would be enough for James Harden to make the playoffs. We saw it in our first game. We lost to 2 points by a team that, thought after Game 1 of the playoffs they were about to upset the Los Angeles Lakers. So, by no means is our first game a disappointment. It's a moral victory. It's only going to motivate James Harden more to want to get that dub tonight. I'll do quick predictions for tonight's game, guys. I think I went 38 last time and 35 for Wood. Very close. So I'm going to go 51 points for James Harden tonight. 51-point triple-double. I think he gets at least 15 assists, at least 10 rebounds, obviously with the triple-double. Then Christian Wood, I think he's going to go total barbecue chicken on Nikola Jokic. I really do. I say Christian Wood 35-5 or 35-15, sorry. Big game by did I just say Jokic is going to go 35-15? I think I did. Christian Wood's going to go 35-15 on Nikola Jokic tonight. Those are my two bold predictions. Not even bold predictions. Those are just my two predictions that might come across as bold, but, they're pretty much all we got. I mean, obviously we have, talented bench players. But yeah, guys, the Houston Rockets, in my opinion, we're the best team in the NBA. We are the deepest team in the NBA. I've made a lot of videos on why that's true. Christian Wood is about to develop into a star. He's going to be our third scoring option. John Wall, I think you could easily look at 20 points and around 12 assists a game for him. If he does that, I mean, I just don't see any team stopping the Houston Rockets. I just really don't, man. I feel like the Los Angeles Lakers got worse this offseason. I know the Nuggets got worse this offseason. I don't think the Clippers made any big enough moves to, I like Serge Ibaka. I love that move. But, Kawhi Leonard and Paul George, anytime you got Pandemic on that team, I just don't see him going anywhere far. So I think the Clippers and the Nuggets, I know it's only been 2 games, but I think those two teams I think the Houston Rockets are better than them, and it's not even close. Obviously, the Los Angeles Lakers, they lost some important pieces as well. They lost Danny Green, JaVale McGee, Dwight Howard. I have a hard time imagining the Los Angeles Lakers being comfortable with guarding us with just the way our lineups can go. I mean, we could go very small. We could get a little bigger with DeMarcus Cousins. We could have PJ Tucker play the 5. We could do what we're probably going to do and have Christian Wood play the 5. It just presents a lot of mismatches because Christian Wood, while he is 6'10", 7'3" wingspan, I mean, we saw his arms. They're somehow I mean, they're a little bigger. They're probably a little bigger than Kevin Durant, but I didn't know it was possible to be like almost as weak as Kevin Durant till I saw, especially Derrick Jones Jr. That dude is a literal twig. Um, I don't know what Christian Wood's gonna do for the remainder of the season. I don't imagine him gaining like 20 pounds or anything like that, but that's in the back of his mind. I'm sure he's taking care of that situation, but. We saw Nurkic kind of go after Christian Wood a little bit in the first game, in the first couple of possessions. Well, all Christian Wood does is he just adapts. I mean, you just adapt. The Houston Rockets defense adapts to that. You either give some more help, you adapt to it. So that's exactly what we do to Anthony Davis. Last series when we played the Los Angeles Lakers, it was just completely different coach. Obviously completely different system. I love Coach Stephen Silas's system, generating as easy shots as possible for role players or just for everybody on the court. James Harden is a lethal pick and roll player. Christian Wood, he's only going to excel in that like we saw in the first game and in his first preseason game. John Wall is an elite passer, one of the best passers in the last decade. It's very forgotten, in my opinion, just because he hasn't played in an NBA game in 2 years. DeMarcus Cousins, if DeMarcus Cousins comes back at 80%, I mean, you're still looking at a 15 points per game player. Now, as far as DeMarcus Cousins' minutes go, I would assume very minimum, I'd go 20, and at the very most, I'd say 28 minutes. I think he'll be floating around that 25 minutes per night. I think that's going to be perfect. We got to remember we want John Wall and DeMarcus Cousins healthy, fully healthy. Well, we want the whole team to be fully healthy, but these are the two guys who are, have been a little plagued by injuries in the last couple of years of their career. So these are two guys that we need to rest when the opportunity presents itself. We do not want these guys to get hurt. DeMarcus Cousins is only here for 1 year. We've only got him on a 1-year deal. So say DeMarcus Cousins leaves in the offseason, we want to utilize as much DeMarcus Cousins as we can because I think DeMarcus Cousins is a huge piece for keeping James Harden. You guys heard it from me. I say this all the time. I think it just takes a few good games from the Houston Rockets in order to convince James Harden. I think it's relatively clear that the Nuggets aren't better than us, that the Sixers definitely aren't better than us. The Raptors aren't better than us. I don't think the Celtics are better than us. The Heat, I don't think, are better than us. I think James Harden, as the games progress, as they go on, he's going to only just learn these things. And before the season started, I was talking about if we could go 8-2 and get at least one win against the Los Angeles Lakers when we play them on the 9th and 10th games of our season, I think James Harden has no choice but to stay. I know it obviously isn't James Harden's decision, but judging from how he's been a little on the unprofessional, a little on the diva side in the last couple of weeks, seeing James Harden go 44-17 while still being rusty, that should flip switches. Every analysis that watches basketball has the Houston Rockets as either not making the playoffs or being an 8 seed. And I do not understand it. It literally just does not make sense to me. How is any team with James Harden, if he's brought us to the playoffs the last 8 years, how do you have a job? What puts you in that position to put the Rockets outside of the playoffs? Are we going to be, are John Wall and DeMarcus Cousins and Eric Gordon going to have corona the entire year? No. We're getting our help in if not the next game, the game after that. In 1 week from now, we'll be at full strength. James Harden's been averaging 30 points for 8 seasons. How do you put the Houston Rockets, and this goes for everybody, Shannon Sharp, Skip Bayless, Stephen A. Smith, Max Kellerman, how are they all counting out the Rockets? And how are only us Rockets fans the ones who see the potential with this team, and we get called delusional, and then we see James Harden and Christian Wood absolutely play their asses off when both of them necessarily didn't have their best shooting nights? All of a sudden it's, okay, hold on, maybe Maybe these guys were right. Maybe the Rockets are a good team. You fucking think? James Harden, I've been saying he's the third best shooting guard scorer of all time recently. It's funny because every rebuttal people give is they just... sorry. Every rebuttal people give is they just say, like, you forgot Dwayne Wade. Okay, so what? James Harden's the fourth best shooting guard scorer of all time? Like, because that helps your counter argument so much. Either way, we have a top 5 shooting guard scorer ever, and you want to put us out of the playoffs. It's fucking comedic. These analysis, they need to watch Rockets basketball, and they would be like, wow, I was wrong. How did I not get exposed? It's because no one else is watching Rockets basketball, but I guarantee you everyone will be soon because we are the best team in the NBA.